This is Gemara Bava Kama Daf Kuf Yud Beis B'Siyata Dishmaya. We've begun the final parak, the home stretch of this long Masechta, difficult Masechta at time, Bava Kama. As we wrap up, we begin preparing for Maseches Bamitziyah, which is on the horizon, B'Siyata Dishmaya. We pick it up, Kuf Yud Beis Amud Aleph, the top line. We're in the middle of discussing the Shita of Rami Bar Chama that taught us yesterday that being Yoresh something, inheriting something, is considered and tantamount to a Shinoi Rishos, which would thereby consider it to be a Kinyan, as we know that Yush V'Shini Rishos affects a Kinyan. So Ravada Barava Masli Lahada Rami Bar Chama Ravada Barava learned the aforementioned din of Rami Bar Chama, the din that the Yarshim being Yairish is considered a Shini Rishos, from the following Brisa. Says the Brisa that we've had about a month ago in Daf Stadi Dalid, a Brisa that's going to come back to us about Mitziyah. Haniach lemavi and mo'i shel ribis. If a father was nifter and left over money, but it was money which was ribis, it was interest payments of a loan, which of course are forbidden, even though they know that it's interest. They're not chayav to return the money. Oh, my Rami Bar Chava, says Rami Bar Chava that from here is where we see Rishos Yairish, that going into the possession of a Yairish is like Rishos Lekeach, meaning it's considered a Yishinoi Rishos, and therefore that's the reason that the Yarshim are considered that they have a Kinyan, they require it, and that's the reason why they don't have to return it, because it's a Kinyan in their possession. Rav argues, and he says, really, I'll tell you, Rishos Yairish lav Kershos Lekeach Dami. An inheritor is not like a purchaser. B'shayni hacha, so why over here do you not have to return the interest payment? Amar Krab, says the Torah, al tikach me'itoy neshach v'tarbis. Says the pasuk, do not take interest or an increase in money. Ahadar lei. From here we learn, return it. Ki hechi dinachi b'hadach. Return it. Why? So that he can live with you. Ledidei ka mazir lei rachmana. So the Hazara, the warning of the Torah is Lididei. For he who took the interest payment, you return it. But Librei loy mazir lei rachmana, to the child, there is no directive, and therefore the child does not have to return it, turn the interest payment. Comments the Gemara Mandamatzla Braisa, according to the one who learned Rabbi Bar Chama on our din of ribis, Kol Shekina Masnisan, about Geneva. But Mandamatzla Masnisan, yesterday's din of Rabbi Bar Chama on Geneva, but Avala Braisa and Bar Chama Kirava Masle, could be the Rabbi Bar Chama will learn from like Rava, and therefore there would be no raya from our Mishnah potentially to Rami Bar Chama's din. Continues the Gemara on this theme of children who receive an item that was stolen by a parent. About 15 lines from the white lines. First from the line is Rami Bar Chama. Tanu Rabbanan. The topic of the Mishnah, the topic of the Perek. Someone who steals and feeds the stolen item to his child. Peturim mile shalim. The halacha is the child does not have to pay back. Whereas hiniach lefneim gidolim. Incorrect. Hiniach lefneim. If you left the item in chayfetz, an item that's intact, then gidolim chem l'shalim, katanim peturim l'shalim. And again, this is similar to din of the Mishnah, more elaborate, as Brises always are. V'im amru gidolim inanu yoidim cheshvainais shechishav avinu imach. But if the gadol says, I do not know the cheshvan that our father had with you, then peturin. Then even the gadol, even the chayfetz, they don't have to pay back. Ask the Gemara, perhaps the obvious kasha, Mishom de Amri Enani Yoidim Peturin, because the child says he doesn't know, that makes him potter. Amarava Achi Kamar, this is what it means. Gedoilim Sha'amru Yoidim Anu. We know we know what our father did with you. And we know that nothing is left then Peturim, meaning not that they say we don't know. Exactly the opposite. They say that we know. And they say that we know our father paid you back. Then even the Gadol does not have to pay back to the one that was stolen potentially from. Tanya Idach, we have another Braisa, Hagoizel Machil. One more time, our highlighting just went crazy. One more time. Tanurap. I know what's going on over here. I apologize. Let's try this one more time. Tani idach. There we go. We're about 8 lines from the white line. And the child consumed it. Ask Gemara in this brisa, really? Are ketanim ever going to be chayiv? Lo yehei. The katan should be considered eladazik azuki as one who is mazik, and therefore he should not have to pay. He should have to pay. Looking at Rashi for a moment, Rashi, a few lines up across, says, if someone who enters into the rishos of the one who he's stealing from and he damages, but we learned prior in Daf Yomi, should be the same thing. They're ketanim, they shouldn't have to pay. Amar Papa, no, hachi kamer. Then the item is still there, and that's when you have to pay it back. Amar Rava, 2 lines from the white lines. If the father left for them, para she'ula, a cow that was borrowed, mishtamshin ba koyimei sheltoi. They, the Yarshim, could use the cow for all the days that it was borrowed. Mesa, if the cow dies, ain't chayavim b'ainsel. The children are not responsible to pay for any einsim that happened with this cow. Kisvurim shalaviyimi, if they thought that the cow belonged to their father, they didn't realize it was a borrowed cow. They shechted it and ate it. What's the halacha? They got to pay the value of that which they gained, of the meat, but they can evaluate it as cheap meat. If the father left over something with achrayis, the father left over properties, a house, karka, then chayavim lishalim. Then they have to pay back that animal from the estate, from the properties that the father left over. Says the Gemara, this last line of the Brisa said, that line, says the Gemara, some learn it on the Reisha, some learn it on the Seifa. He who learns it on the Reisha, certainly it's going to refer to the Seifa. The Reisha was the case that what? The animal dies. So if we learn when the animal dies and it's only have to pay back from the estate, so too, Kol Shekin, says the Gemara, Aseifa, when they went and they shechted it, Upli their Papa, and it's arguing their Papa. Manta Masla Aseifa, that it's only in the case where they shechted Avla Reisha, Loiv, I know their Papa. That is their Papa. What's his Papa? Damar Papa. Paisapara, Genuvel of Tavchobe Shabbos, Chayiv, Shekvar Chayiv, Gneva, Kodin Shavali Day Isser, Shabbos, because you're Chayiv on the Gneva before it came to the Isser Shabbos. So that's going to be the 2 ways of learning the Brisa, and whether it's proving this din of Rav Papa or whether it's arguing on this din of Rav Papa, and concludes the Brisa. He's a para shula life of Shabbos, but the Shabbos is Gneva, then ba'in ke'echad. Tanu Rabbanan begins the new Brisa. Ve'hishav says Geila. Asher Gazal, 6 lines in the bottom of Kuf Yud. Beis Amid Aleph teaches the Brisa you have to return that which you stole. Why? Matam Alem Asher Gazal. Why does the pasuk say return that which you stole? To say Ve'hishav says Geila. What's these actual words? Asher Gazal. Says the Gemara, Yachzer Ke'ein Shegazal. You have to return Ke'ein, similar to that which you stole. Mikan Amr, from here we learn, Ha'goizel u'machel es banav peturem milishalim. if someone steals something and feeds it to his child, they're potter from paying. Why are they potter from paying? Because it's not ke'ein she ga'azal. Whereas, and this brisa, of course, is giving us a little bit more of context, a little bit more of depth into the din of our Mishnah and the din of the brisa we just quoted. Chayavim Misham Somchas Amru, in the name of Somchas, they said Gedolim Chayavim Ketanim Rim. Says the Gemara, a story which will bring out the aforementioned din Bar Chamua, Rav Yirmiyah Tarak. Bar Chamua, the Rav Yirmiyah's father-in-law, closed the door in the face of Rav Yirmiyah. Bar Chamua, the father-in-law to Rav Yirmiyah, Tarak Gali Babi to Rav Yirmiyah, shut the door in front of Rav Yirmiyah. He didn't allow Rav Yirmiyah enter. So Rav Yirmiyah was going to try to make a chazaka on the house. Also came to Rav Avin Amar Shaloyu Teveya. He came in front of Rav Avin, and Rav Avin said, he wants what's yours to be his. Amar Le, Rav Yirmiyah responded, but I'll have Eidim that will show that I indeed had a chazaka while the father was alive. Very good, the child's coming along now to take a chazaka now, but I had a chazaka while the father was alive. Amar Le, Eidim. But are we going to accept Eidim, says the Gemara, as we turn over to Kof Yod Beis Amid Beis Shaloi Bifnei Baal Din? What are Eidim going to do for you? You're saying you're going to procure Eidim, but the Baal Din is no longer here. So what is the Eidim going to do? And therefore, what's it going to help if you say you're going to bring Eidim? Ask the Gemara, really? Is that true? Vakatani being done being chayav? But we just learned that both Kedalim and Ketanim are obligated to pay. So obviously we see a katan, it could be forced to return back that which he inherited. Amar le, are machlekes sumches bitzidoch. It's machlekes and sumches holds like you that a katan cannot be compelled to pay back. Amar Rav Yirmiyah says back, Ichmal kuli alma v'kaykes sumches shkayach sumches lafkunim ididi. You're gonna tell me the whole world is going like sumches just so I lose? What do you mean? But the chachamim argue on sumches. Says the Gemara, as this story is going on, and Gagol Milsa, the item rolled, it happened, they figured out also Matl Kemeder of Avua. Amar Loishamia Lechu Adr Rav Yisrael Bar Chama did not hear that which Yisrael Bar Chama said. Amar Rav Yisrael Bar Chama Rav Yishia Tinoik Shetakav Be'avodav. The child took a slave. And he goes to the field of his friend. And he said, Shaliu. We don't tell him wait till he grow up. We take it away from him now. He doesn't get it. And then he'll be able to bring Eidim when he grows up. And we'll see whether the Eidim are accurate or not. So what do we see? From here, this is clearly like he's timing, like the Chachamim, who said that a katan could be forced to return back the property. So by this story of Rav Yirmiyah as well, Rav Yirmiyah should bring Eidim. If we listen to his Eidim, he'll get back his house and the katanim will not be able to kick it. Says the Gemara, mi dami hasam hu demafkina minei v'lo kaimi deloi kaimolei achazaka da'avua. Over there by Rav Aisha, we take it away from the katan. Why? Because there was no chazaka by the father. Our case is different because the father we knew was his. So the child is coming mikayach the father. Very good, Rav Yirmiyah. You're saying that you made a chazaka for the father. Okay, but our current status is we know belong to the father, so the child will be able to take it. And the fact that you're saying you at Eidim will not help you in such a story. We briefly mentioned on the top line, accepting Eidim Shaloi Bifnei Baldin. On that theme, we have a statement of Rav Ashi Amar Rav Shabtai, Mekablen Eidim Shaloi Bifnei Baldin. That's not true, says Rav Ashi in the name of Rav Shabtai, that we could indeed accept Eidim, even if the Baldin is not invested. But Rav Yechon was wondering, is this true? Keblua minei Rav Yossi Bar Chanina. So Rav Yosi bar Chanina accepted this halacha as follows, meaning he explained. Case is shayahu chayle or edav chaylim. The case is if he or the edim are sick, shaya edam evakshin leilchim dinas ayam. The edim want to leave. V'shalchu lai. And they summon the Baldin, and he doesn't come. In that case, when we ask the Baldin to show up to Bezdin, and the Edom want to leave, or the Edom are sick, then if the Baldin doesn't come, then we're Makabel the Edom, even not in front of such Baldin. That is how we paskin. Similarly, what case are we going to accept such a Edom? Going to paschu le bedinei that Bezdin opened up the case, and they summoned the Baldin to Bezdin, he didn't come. But if they did not open the case, then Matzi Amar Lei, then the Baldin, the defendant, could say, I want to go to Bezdin Hagadol, I don't want to deal with a small court, and therefore they will not accept Edim Shloiv Ifnei Baldin. Ask the Gemara, 12 lines from the white lines. First one of the line is if that is true, Nami. Even if Bezdin started the case, Nami Matzi Amar Lei, he should be able to tell them Bezdin Hagadol Silna. So why are we going to accept Eidim Shloiv B'fanam? Amar Avina Kon Din Nokat Diskaya Me Bezdin Hagadol. We're talking about a case where he got a letter from the Bezdin Hagadol that the Bezdin Hagadol said that the local Bezdin could try the case. In that situation, the Baldin can't say, I want to go to Bezdin Hagadol, because Bezdin Hagadol said this Bezdin should try the case. And then if they send a Hazmana to the Baldin and he does not show up, that's the scenario in which we're going to allow and accept Eidim, even Shalai B'fnei, the Baldin. Why? Because he didn't show up. And that's going to be the case, and that's going to qualify when we are Mekabel Neidin Shlob B'fnei Baldin or not. 10 lines from the white lines. The first one line is Bezdin Hagadol Amar Rav Mekai Minas Ashtar Shaloi B'fnei Bezdin. Says Rav that in a similar vein, where Mekayim Ashtar Shlob B'fnei Bezdin. The previous discussion was Mekabel Neidin Shlob B'fnei Bezdin. Now we want to know, the Shlob B'fnei Baldin, excuse me. Now we want to know, can we be Mekayim the Shtar? There's a Shtar, and we want to certify that Shtar so it can be used to collect, etc. Or can we do that? If not, if the Baldin is not here, says the Gemara, yes. Rav Yochanan Amar, Ein Mekayim the Shtar Shlob B'fnei Bezdin. The Baldin, excuse me. Machlokes Rav and Rav Yochanan. Explains the Gemara, Amalei Rav Shesi the Rav Yosi Baravu Asvar L'Chatayim the Rav Yochanan. I'll explain to you the reason Rav Yochanan when I'm Mekayim the Shtar Amar Kra v'Huad v'Bala v'Leish v'Ranu Amar Torah. So things are only going to be done in front of the Baldin. We learn from the pasuk, says Rav Yochanan. Amar Rava, what's the halacha? Also Mekayim the Shtar Shlof Bezdin. Va'afilu Aymed v'Tzavach. And even if and over here is the Baldin, is the loiva, and we're Mekayim the Shtar that the loiva owes the money even if he's not there. Says the Gemara, even if the loiva is screaming and saying, no, it's a mezuyaf, it's a forged document, we don't listen to him, and we are Mekayim the Shtar. V'yamar nakita li zimana adam asini sa'adi umarina leila shtar. But if he says, wait, give me some time so that I can bring Eidim and disqualify, then Naktinan lay. And Yasa. So Yiloyasa, then Natrinan lay. Pays, hey, pays. If he doesn't show up, we wait Monday, Thursday, Monday. Iloyasa, if he still doesn't come, Kazvina and Pticha aluye. Then what do? We write on him, Tishin Yaimim. We put him into Chayrim for 90 days. Talasin kamai loy nachtinan. For the first 30 days, we don't go into the property to collect that which he owes l'nechasei. Ta'amar katarch bezuzei. What's the reason? The Amar katarch bezuzei ve'neizov. Because you say maybe he's trying to borrow back the money. Again, we're dealing with a loiva that originally claimed the document was forged. He didn't produce the appropriate aid. So now he owes the money. He didn't pay. So what do? We give him 90 days. The first 30 days we wait. Why do we wait? Because maybe he's actually coming to pay back. Mitziyah, the next 30 days. Nami loy, we don't go into his property. We also don't go to his property. Why not? Because we say, Maybe he couldn't find someone to get the money from, so he's selling his property. Basroi, the last 30 days, we don't go to his property. What's the reason? Because it could be that he found someone to buy his property, but that guy's trying to get the money. Bizuzi. Loy also. So, but if after 90 days, after giving him the Monday, Thursday, Monday to produce the Eidim, he still has not paid back, then we write a seizure warrant on his property, and we go down and we collect the property against his will. Says the Gemara of honey mili, this is only Demer Asina. It's only if he says I'm coming. Alter Kasvina, right away. We write the Shtar Drachta, right away we're going to collect against his will. Because Bezdin Paskin that he owes, and he didn't show up to court at all. Continues the Gemara qualifying this dinner job further. Vahani mili b'milva. This is only true by a halva. Halva b'pikadain. If it comes to a pikadain, la alter kasvinan. By a pikadain, right away we write a seizure. Why? Because a pikadain was not meant to be spent, and therefore, if he doesn't have it right away, we write a seizure document on his property. And we conclude with the Gemara teaching us, and when we write such a document, we don't do it for unmovable properties. Why? Malva limit. Why? Because then the borrower might come, the lender, might come and take the movable property. And the loiva might end up bringing witnesses, which is going to destroy the shtar. And he's not going to have anything to collect it back. But if the malva has karka, then indeed kasvina, because even if he collects from the metaltalin, no skin off our back, because we always can get back from his own karka. Veloyis is not a drachta metalti, but says the Gemara, it's not true. A drachta metalti loy kasvinan af al gav. Even if the malva has karka, why? Because he might deteriorate the land. And finally, when we write the drachta, we tell the borrower, that's only if the borrower is close by. If he's far away, then we do not tell him. If he's far away, but he has relatives. Or there's a caravan. That's going to where he is. We wait 12 months for him to come back. Until a caravan goes wherever he is and comes back. Till it goes, he comes back from Beichayzai. See how far we go. We don't just go, we collect. Incredible process of Bezdin, and we conclude. V'lo says Gemara, in that case, we're done with powerful people. Once we were to give that drachta, you never be able to take it back. That's why they waited so long. We wait until messenger can go on Shabbat on Tuesday and tell him and he comes back on Wednesday, and then on Thursday we make the bezdin, make the court case. The incredible process of collecting. We'll pick it up from here. B'siyata dishmaya.